Hey everyone, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are able to hear me and see me clearly. Can everybody give a quick thumbs up if I'm audible to all of you guys? Yes. Good evening. Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. Kailash, Chandan, everyone who has joined. Now we have started the session, Sahil. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. Great. All right, guys. So now we will start the session. Again, good afternoon, everyone, to people joining from all the different platforms. I'm sure everybody is doing great and excited about this new year as well as today's masterclass. So thank you all for joining the session on weekend, and I'm sure you guys will not regret it. It's wonderful to see so many enthusiastic learners joining us to explore the fascinating world of data science and AI. So, guys, before we dive in, let me introduce myself. My name is Alok Anand, and I will be your host for today's session. In this masterclass, we will deep dive into there are few agenda. So first of all, we will talk about, and this masterclass is going to be very interesting for those learners, enthusiastic learners who want to start their journey in the field of data science and AI. They want to understand what is going on, what this buzz is all about, what do you mean by data science, what is this generative AI that has come in picture. Then after that, how has generative AI changed the data science hiring? So if you are looking for kind of joining the field of data science as a data scientist, data analyst, then in that case, how this generative AI as a domain, which has kind of come in the market, I'm sure you guys have heard about it. So, how this has changed the scope of hiring in the field of data scientist. And towards the end, I will be giving a roadmap to become the data scientist. If you want to join this particular domain, what all different things you should be focusing on, right? And how you can do the structured learning. So these four different agenda we will be talking about in this session. This session is going to go on for almost 1.5 hours. So hang on tight, guys. You will be getting a lot of interesting insights in this particular session. And you guys have this whole platform to ask your questions from all the different platforms. You can ask the question in the comment section, or you can ask the question in the chat section over here. Our team will pick it out, and also I will be answering all those questions towards the end and sometimes in the middle as well. So please feel free to utilize this session to get all your doubts answered, guys. All right. So let's start with the first agenda. And before that, before we get into what is data science, let me talk about myself a little bit further. So I'm co-founder and CEO at AlmaBetter, and I have almost 8 years of experience in the field of data science and machine learning. I have worked with American Express and Blackbuck. And on top of it, I have understanding of ML systems, deployment of ML systems. And mostly we work with a lot of companies being part of Alma Better. We have a lot of hiring partners. And with them, we work on optimizing their resources. We work with them on suggesting few projects, working and collaborating for few more projects. So that is something which we have done in past, I think, 3 to 4 years at with AlmaBetter, and it has been like 100 plus companies we have worked with. So overall, this whole experience I am going to concise and give it to you in a manner that you understand that what this field is all about, right? Cutting through all the buzzwords, cutting through all the buzz news you might be hearing about data science and AI. I want to simplify it for you as per my own experience, guys. So let's go to our first thing, that is what is data science, and it is super super important for the beginner who want to start their journey in 2025. They need to understand first that what they are getting into, right? You have heard about data science, you have heard about data analysis, you have heard about artificial intelligence, machine learning, all these different terms, what all these things about, right? What all these things are actually, and how do we segregate it, how do we kind of answer that what these things are. That is something first let's try to understand and give make ourselves very clear about these terms. So first of all, if I talk about the data science as a field, data science is a field which you can say as a domain. It's an umbrella under which everything lies where you are dealing with data, right? Everything inside of it. If I talk about data science, Rest everything when you talk about data analyst, any role, machine learning, AI. On top of it, you must have heard about product analyst and so on and so forth. All these roles, all these come under the domain of data science. It will, all these will come under the domain of data science. So data science is a domain. Like computer science is a domain, like your different, if I talk about, let's say, mechanical engineering is also a domain. Now data science has become so advanced and so in-depth kind of a field that it has become a domain altogether, right? And in this domain, what do? We deal with data and do some science on top of it, right? We deal with data, we use some data, we will come to each and every term, just give it some time. So we deal with data, do some science on top of it, do some science on top of it, and finally we get the result. Finally, we get the result. Now, still, you might be thinking, okay, you have some data, you will be doing science, but what science do we do over here? What science do we do over here? And what is the result do we get? Right? Why this field or domain is so important? All these different things, I'm sure it must be coming to your mind, right? So overall, if I talk about the definition of this, data science is an interdisciplinary field that combines statistical analysis, machine learning, computer science, etc., etc., and it involves gathering, organizing, analyzing, interpreting large amount of data. All these things you might have heard about already, and this is what I mentioned, that domain of data science. All the terms of ML, AI, product analyst, data analyst, business analyst, everything comes under the domain of data science. And if I break the data science, wherever I am going to deal with data and I'm going to do the analysis and science, it becomes a data science. Now, let us understand further inside of it that what are the applications of data science in various fields. This will give you an understanding that when I mentioned about the science, doing science on data, what I want to say over there, right? What are you going to work on? Right? So let's start with very basic and very simple understanding of, let's say, business and finance, right? All of us, we have dealt with some kind of fraud, or we have dealt with the news that some with someone, some fraud has happened, and I'm sure near about us, somebody is there who has been kind of affected by fraud, right? Now, detection of fraud. Let's say you have a card, right? You have a card and you have a credit card, let's say, and somebody else took your card and did the transaction. There is a full-fledged system in companies like American Express, Visa, and different other companies. They have a full-fledged machine learning algorithmic system, machine learning backed system, which detects that whether this transaction is legit or not. Whatever you want to buy, let's say you have gone to some place and you want to buy some grocery or something or the other you want to buy in that shop, that particular algorithm will say that whether this is a legit transaction or it's a fraud transaction. It will be able to figure out whether it is your normal behavior of transaction or it is something which is out of the pattern which you generally do. And if it is out of the pattern, it means somebody else is using your card. Immediately there will be, that transaction will be declined, you will be given a call and card will be blocked as per the different stages. I have personally worked on this particular problem statement when I was with American Express, right? So I know that here, when I'm saying that detecting the fraud, it's not something that is happening manually. Every day millions of transactions were happening, and every second there were thousands, lakhs of transactions all across the world happening. It cannot be done manually, right? So there has to be some intelligent system that has to be there, running 24/7, and that is flagging all these transactions. So that is where you are doing the science with the data. Now, why it is coming under, why it is coming under data science domain? Because here, you cannot detect the fraud until unless you know the behavior of the person. You know the behavior of fraudulent transaction. So you have to combine all those prior information data, and then you have to do the analysis to finally come up with the algorithm, right? That is what you do in the field of data science. right? And I will break it down further that how do you take the roadmap, but for just understand the data science or the science part, what I was talking about. Same goes with risk assessment, right? In case of business and finance. So whenever you are kind of applying for loan, right? Always there will be an algorithm which will be checking whether you how risky it is going to be if I will be giving you a loan to this person or you or somebody else, right? That risk assessment is always being done by companies, and not just for a person, for businesses, for different types of loan which bank provides. Now, this is all about business and finance. You can understand this, you can kind of feel it that always there is one algorithm, there are algorithms running which checks that whether you are the right customer, whether the transaction is right. All those different things are going to be around your machine learning and doing the data, doing the science on the data in the field of business and finance. Next, you have the category of healthcare where disease diagnosis, treatment effectiveness, drug discovery. This particular segment is on high rise, right? This particular segment is or industry is currently very high on utilizing the concept of data science and machine learning in the domain. Rest, all the different segments which you see, industry which you see, they are also using. But very recently, healthcare is adopting the machine learning and data science kind of as a product, as an application like no other industry. So all the different disease diagnosis, treatment effectiveness, lot of companies have emerged, lot of different algorithms have come in picture, lot of effectiveness, x-ray detection. So you will see it's not something where you will replace the doctor. Here the purpose of putting all these algorithms, machine learning, data science, all these are not there to replace doctor, rather to work alongside doctor to give them alongside doctors to give them an understanding which they could not find earlier. Earlier, doctors, they used to see what is there right now in front of them, right? But now, utilizing the data, looking at the, let's say, x-ray report, your blood report, and etc., multiple different numbers, AI can definitely analyze it better and kind of give some insight to doctor to take the action further. So that is being done right now in healthcare. Same goes with marketing, where customer behavior analysis, marketing segment, ad personalization. Big companies like Facebook, now it has become Meta, Google, they have perfected it, right? They have kind of perfected. I'll not say that they have made it this system perfect, but they know what is your interest based on what all activities you do on internet. They know what kind of behavior, where do you go, what do you like, everything around that they actually know, and based on that they segment you in different market, that this particular person is fitness enthusiast, so show him the fitness type of ads and products. Same goes with if somebody is going to get married, based on your searches, based on your likes, based on your groups, based on your conversations, they are going to suggest you the products which are relevant to the marriage and other side of your life, right? So that is what is being done over here. Now, same goes with transportation, social sciences, not getting into each one of these, environmental science. You can read all these and you can understand and you can feel about it that when I'm saying science with data, all these things which you see as a terms, all these are legit projects being worked on in different companies. And over here, you would need the data to kind of solve the problem. You need to have the information and the data to solve the trend identification. What is the current trend going on, what people are talking about, social media analysis, what social media is talking about, what is the hot topic right now. You have to have the information about route optima, you need to have the information about route, earlier challenges, etc., to optimize the route further. Now, for us in education, we have student performance analysis, learning pattern identification, all those different mails you see. If you are not, let's say, active, you will get a call from our end. So all those different things are set up from our end to ensure that we have the performance data and we push our students to give them a good understanding about how to start, when to start. So all these analytics we also do from our end. Same goes with cybersecurity. This is also very hot right now because coming in all these AI and different systems, it has become very, very important that you know threat identification. You know, is there any anomaly on your website or in your phone or somewhere where your security is breached, right? Same goes with intrusion detection. Somebody else, let's say, if you have been shared one message, you need to know that whether that link is fraudulent. Now you will see that whenever you get a call, in fact, now your when like your Airtel or Geo, whichever company SIM you are using in, they also suggest whether it is a spam, suspected spam. They're also using these kind of data to kind of flag all those different phone numbers, whether it can be spam or it's a genuine person who is calling you. So all these different sciences where you need some background data. You need some background information before you take some decision on top of it. This whole thing becomes your data science. This is where we see that you need some information to make a decision. Now, to further understand and get the intuition clear about this is earlier there was a phase where automation was mostly being done by companies. A lot of companies, they started doing automation. They started working on creating systems, development, applications, all those things they started working on, and that is still going on right now. It's a ever growing process. It's something which will always go on. Different processes, different systems will come in picture where automation is being kind of done at a very deep level. So that is going to be always there. But now, on top of the automation, intelligence has come in picture. So now automation plus intelligence is something which companies are doing. Earlier, maybe if I talk about risk assessment, lot of people were there who were kind of looking the application manually and then taking the decision. Some intelligence has been put which data scientist or machine learning engineer or data analyst will kind of develop, which will ensure that things are automated with some intelligence. Not lot of manual people are required over there. For some other thing, those people will be utilized. Same goes with each and every problem statement you see. So at the end of it, what I want to say is we have now, if I talk about this particular decade and the era right now, we have data, and all the companies, they want to do some science and set up a system where intelligence is also there on top of their automation. That is why this whole field is kind of getting more and more traction, and it is going to be in the future as well, that AI, machine learning, data science, data analyst, these kind of roles will come more and more in the future because data is always going to be available more in the more structured format. So that is how things are going to be. Now, I'm saying here that if you have the interest, if you want to get into this, then this might be something which will become an interesting field for you in the future. But on top of it, if you have other interest, if you think that, okay, data science is one side of it, but if I want to get into development side, that is also something which is there in the market. But this field right now, coming in generative AI, coming in more sophisticated platforms, more sophisticated algorithms, this has become really interesting thing, which all the companies, they try to put it in their system. Right now, I see one question: what was the reason that company not had like getting job is difficult? Okay, so, Shankar, it's all about when you're saying that the reason of company is not hiring people, right? The biggest reason is, first of all, skill, right? This skill which they are looking for. If you have the right skill, you will definitely get the opportunity. Now, here there are a lot of questions around whether fresher will be kind of given the opportunity, etc., etc. So for that, we have set up our system. We solve first job in tech domain, so that is what AlmaBetter stands for, and we put a lot of effort around that, and we are very proud of that particular sign because we have in this last year itself, in the 2024, we have partnered with companies like Amazon and almost 150, 160 students, they got placed at Amazon only, right? So such type of things we do. And when I talk about these many students, most of them were freshers, right? Now what happens, there are only two things which you have to work on, and towards the end you will get the success. First thing is, you should have a relevant portfolio. It means you showcase the skill which you have got. And how you are going to showcase this skill? By showing the relevant project in your resume. So that is something which you have to do first. You need to have good projects in your resume, and not just good project. How do you show them? What all lines you have put, what you have worked on? There has to be a structured way what you are following. And then second would be that when you kind of get the opportunity, you are in the interview, you talk about your skill in a relevant manner. So whenever you are there, you are talking about your skill, you should know how to talk about it, because lot of times we are little bit digressing from what our topic is, because this is very interesting thing which Shankar has asked, and I'm sure a lot of freshers, they might also have this in mind, and more I will elaborate towards the end. I'll just take one more minute to close this question. So one thing which I have seen, that people generally relate data science particularly as a domain directly proportional to the coding. It's just the coding. If I know Python, SQL, and different tools, I have become data scientist or I have become data analyst. No, that is just the start. You should know the tool, of course. But when you're talking about your skill, it's not just the tool which you talk about. You will not just say that, okay, I know Python, that's why I should be hired as data analyst. That's not actually the case. You have to talk about the insights. You have to talk about the project, what you have kind of figured out as a pattern, right? How did you analyze the data? That is something which is more important than the tools, right? When you understand that particular shift of the explanation, you will be preferred over anybody else. So that is something which I want everybody, and I'm always vocal about this, that whenever during our program, during our classes, when I take classes with students, I always mention this, that it's not just about tool, it's about what and how you are going to utilize the data to end the end product, to end use case here, how you are going to align your analysis. So insights, how you are going to get, finally how that insight can be useful for different actions. So I have got, now let's say I have done the student performance analysis, but what actions can be taken over here, right? What can be done to kind of improve? What are the challenges? So all those things combine, actually, if you know how to deal with that, then you become a good data scientist or good data analyst. Okay. Now, taking forward to our agenda. So first thing which I wanted to give you guys an understanding about was, what is data science as a field, and different problem statements which you generally work on in companies utilizing the data, and of course having the understanding of different tools. And I will talk more about that in the roadmap section. Now, going forward, we have, now I will believe that a lot of people join this session. They are kind of exploring this whole field, and they want to understand first the difference between data analyst and data scientist. So just I want to give a brief about it, because this is a lot of people, they are confused. Even if they know bit about what's the difference, they are not yet 100% clear that how to segregate these two roles altogether. And it's important to understand what these two roles are, because a lot of people, they just kind of think about, okay, here we have data scientist, name is written as scientist, I want to become scientist, not analyst, right? So that kind of aspiration, that kind of different myths which you guys have got, or some misconceptions which you guys have got, you should be very clear about. And that is something which I want to help you guys understand. So first of all, here when I talk about data analyst versus data scientist, okay, you need to understand there are two different analysis which we do. First is diagnostic analysis, and second part is predictive analytics. Now you will say that, okay, this is also a term which I don't understand, right? What do we mean by diagnostic analysis versus predictive analytics? So diagnostic analysis, if I give you an example, so you go to doctor, and doctor tells you to do some test, blood tests and other tests. Doctor wants to diagnose the disease. he wants to look at, or she wants to look at, the blood report, different test data, to understand, okay, what is down, what is up, and based on that he will make his kind of diagnosis that this is the potential reason, that's why you have got the fever or some other pain or something or the other. So that is what is called as diagnostic analysis. You examine the past data to understand the root causes of events, behaviors, outcomes, report the analysis to finally stakeholders. Now, one example which I gave you was about the doctor. Now, you as a, let's say you have joined the company as data, right? You have joined the company as data analyst. Now, in that case, what will happen? You will be part of a team. And in that team, if somebody, let's say as a manager or somebody who is senior to you or your team member, let's say they will be giving you a problem statement. Ki, this year, let's say in December, my sales went down or my revenue went down. Kind of, you are working with business, they will give you business type of problems. So revenue has gone down. Now revenue, I am sure that all of you guys understand कितना पैसा आया है कंपनी के पास, कितनी प्रोडक्ट बिके हैं, कितनी प्रोडक्ट सेल हुआ है. That is what your revenue is, right? So in that case, why it has gone down? Now you will be sitting there as a data analyst to diagnose. So you will look at different factors. Okay, in December, what was the demand? How many people actually wanted to buy this product? How is there any competitor came in? Or you will be checking different types of data. What is kind of, in this case, you have demand, competitor, and on top of it, you look at the trend over month. It might be like you are selling raincoat, and in December, very few states they have a kind of rainfall, right? So you are, it's very natural that sales will go down. So these kind of pattern, not just for raincoat, but there are different patterns, and they are different products, and they have different pattern of sales in different month. It has different peaks. So those kind of trend and those kind of over time, over month, over week, how your number of products getting sold is related. That is what you will be figuring out and telling your manager or your team member. You see, this is what I have done with my past data, and this is what my result of analysis diagnostic is. Okay, this is why, because of my December month not suitable for certain product, my sales has gone down. That is what you will be doing. And when you start your journey as a fresher, this is something where you will be mostly starting to work on, because you need to understand how to deal with data. You need to understand how to deal with data. Now, before I go further into all these, I will come to predictive analysis. Shivani, it's totally dependent upon you, because as a development, this is more from people who want to get into data science and AI field. Okay, Sivraj, it's more for those students, and specifically if they are beginner, they want to start their journey, it's important for them to understand. Okay, it's available for all the people outside, everyone can join, and they can understand that what this whole field is. Now, I hope you guys have understood diagnostic analysis. Going to our predictive analysis. In case of our predictive analytics, we go beyond just the diagnostic. Now, you will be asked, ki, okay, we now understand that in my December, sales will go down, right? In the future, can you tell me that December 2025, what is going to be sales? I'm going to predict now that what is the expected sales, right? Tell me in the January 2025, looking at previous year's data, what is the expected sales? How many product will be sold? So if I know this, I can optimize lot of things: inventory, number of people I need, number of or the marketing budget I should be putting. So all those things I can do if I can predict. So now after your diagnostic, you try to kind of find a pattern where your machine learning comes in picture, where your machine learning comes in picture, and you do the predictive analytics, and that comes under data scientist as a role, right? So initially you start with diagnostic analysis, you become a data analyst. You say that, okay, based on the past data, this is what is happening right now. And when you become more senior, when you are you have spent 1 to 2 years in this field, then you start predicting about the future by utilizing some algorithm, which is machine learning algorithm. So it takes time for you to actually understand the industry, understand the pattern of data, why something is happening in the industry or in your company or in your particular domain. You have to first diagnose, and then you get towards the predictive analytics. Because if you are fresher and if you say that in January this much sales will happen, of course somebody senior will look at whether your approach is correct or not. But as you become senior, as you become more and more experienced, then after that you start working on predictive analytics. That is how the journey works. That is how the journey works. Now, in case of data analyst, most of the time, 90% of time, 80 to 90% of time, you will be working on this, no matter what your designation is. I'm not talking about the designation, because designation can be data analyst, data scientist, or anything which you have got to join the company and working on data. Here, if you are starting your journey, your most of the time will be spent on the diagnostic. You will be working as data analyst. And different roles like market analyst, risk analyst, business analyst, product analyst. It means when as an analyst, you are working with marketing team to help them understand that which platform, let's say whether Google ad is performing better or Facebook ad is performing better. If you are working on marketing data, then you are called as marketing analyst. If you are working with, let's say, finance risk analyst, it means fraud detection, or finance team if you are working with as a data analyst, what type of data you are dealing with? You are dealing with finance data, you are dealing with different financial data, transaction data you are dealing with, then you become a risk analyst. Then after that, you have business analyst. When you're working with business team, when you're working with a sales team, then or you are working with CXOs, CEOs, if you're working with them, then in that case, you are analyzing, okay, who all are competitors, what product, how should I expand my business to this particular reason. If you are doing those analysis, you become a business analyst. Now, this has different context. If you are in if you are in service company, lot of times you will, as a business analyst, you will be a bridge between tech team and the client. So you will understand the problem what client is facing. You will break down into business terms, tech terms, and try to relate down to your team, inside team, when you are working with clients. So those all guys are also called as business analyst itself, because they understand the problem from the client business point of view and then relate down to technical person, because this person has the understanding of tech as well. Now, product analyst, when you're working with product team, when you are trying to optimize that how many clicks, what the color of button, or how many people are signing up, then dropping it out. So if you're working with product team, if you're working with product managers, you become a product. Whereas on the other side, fresher plus experienced people. So you need to have, when you are fresher, you will be doing part of predictive analytics, but with experience of 2 to 3 years, then after that, you start working on predictive analytics. But it's a journey. It's a journey from here to here, which you take over the years. And then after that, your roles might be data scientist, ML engineer, AI engineer. So all these things more or less comes under this particular domain itself, this particular analysis itself, which is data scientist. Now, if I talk about the skill set which you require, so Python, SQL, dashboarding tools, and statistics. Here, when you start it off, when as a fresher you start your journey, so you need a understanding of Python, good understanding of Python. SQL is going to be your bread and butter, because using SQL itself, you actually deal with data. You get the data using the language of SQL. Then you have dashboarding tool. When I talk about dashboarding, you might have heard about Power BI, you might have heard about Tableau, and our OG Excel. So all these you might have heard about. These all things you should know to a certain level. Not everything. You should know Excel, and out of these two, you should know at least one. So if you know Power BI and Excel, you are good to go in terms of dashboarding tools, because there are lot of dashboarding tools in the industry, in the market. And you should know about statistics, because if you are doing some analysis, and you are going to talk about how, what is the significance level of this. If two things are, if you are saying that my sales has gone down, whether it is significant enough or it is insignificant, by if it has gone down by 0.02%, whether this 0.02% is big enough or it is low, how you have to kind of talk about it. How do you do the experiment? There are a lot of experiments, experiment design, A/B testing, all those things you have to have the understanding about. That is something where you have to get the understanding of statistics. So Python SQL dashboarding tool, one of Excel plus Power BI or Excel plus Tableau, that is going to be good enough. And then statistics, this gives you a really good hold in getting into the field of data analyst when you start it off. But when you kind of get the experience, you need to have SQL, Python, SQL, big data, because now you will start dealing with big data. Because when you want to do the predictive analysis, you need to have good amount of data with you, and that amount will help you with kind of doing the right prediction. If you have more data, more structured data, if you have, then in that case, better pattern you will be able to derive, right? If you have seen all the phases, then your insights will be better. So that is how your overall thing would be, and you need to have the understanding of how to deal with big data. So you have Python, SQL, big data, dashboarding tools like I mentioned, Tableau, Power BI, Excel. Then we have ML modeling, deep learning. These two things also you should be kind of clear about, that how do you kind of implement the ML algorithm. You might have heard about XGBoost. You might have heard about simple linear regression, logistic regression. It goes to complicated algorithm which is there in the market, in the tech world. So how to use that? And it's not just about taking that algorithm and fitting in the data. You need to understand the data. You need to prepare the data for right kind of output. So there are a lot of things which you have to look for. So that is something which comes under your predictive analysis, and all the things, recommendation system. In recommendation system, I predict what you will be liking, and based on that, I give you the ranking, right? So all these things which I'm talking about, I talked about fraud detection today. In fraud detection also, I'm predicting that whether this particular fraud is, whether the particular detection transaction is fraud or not. What is the probability of this particular transaction being fraud? So I'm predicting that. Same happens for your different problem statements. So in this case, I want to give you a clear understanding about data analyst versus data scientist. Just understand this very clearly. When you are doing the diagnostic analysis, you're talking about the status quo, right? You're talking about the status quo. It means what has happened right now, why my sales has gone down, right? Why somebody has fever. When you diagnose the information and then relay it down to stakeholder, you work as a data analyst. Now, when you get into the predictive part of it, when you say that, okay, this month sales was this, next month what it is going to be, after that what it's going to be, when you predict it prior, then you are mostly into data scientist towards the data scientist field, right? And here you need to have the understanding of ML and deep learning. So have the understanding clear in this new year. If you want to start your journey as per your journey, mostly you will start here as a fresher. Even if you are in a working professional working in non-tech domain, most of the time you will start from here, because this is something which will give you the in-depth understanding of that what is happening, and then what will happen will come in picture. Yes, Sukanya, recording will be available. Yes. All right, so next we will get into the part which I'm sure you guys must be excited about, that all of these things we discussed about ML, I talked about data analyst, data scientist. Now we have to understand the generative AI, right? We will start from there, and I will give you the understanding of ML and deep learning as well, so that you understand the difference between three terms which you might be hearing. Okay, so let's start about the date overall. What is generative AI? And here, if I talk about the hierarchy here, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, all these combined, right? I will talk about the data science as a domain. Okay. So under data science itself, you can say that you have artificial intelligence, you have machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI. If I talk about the artificial intelligence, it's again a field of study in the domain of data science. It's a field of study in the domain of data science. Okay, in the domain of data science. And inside your artificial intelligence, now artificial intelligence, when I say, it's simple, like when your intelligence is there in some artificial system. It's not like organic system which we have an intelligence, and all the animals, they have intelligence at their own level. But when you have intelligence in artificial being, artificial things which we have created, then it is called as artificial intelligence. By name itself, I'm trying to break it down. Now intelligence can be brought in different ways. It can be a simple if else condition which you have given to the machine, like your lift, elevator, right? You have an elevator, you have a lift which you must be using. When you go press 10, it goes there. If somebody has press stop, so it will stop. If you have two lift at certain level, if you press that I want to go to 12th, which one will come down? All those codings is done, logic is set to make it bit intelligent in nature. Now it cannot take a decision which is not coded, but that is somewhere coming to, you know, that is something which you can say going towards the artificial intelligence side, right? Now what happens, your artificial intelligence, it might be a simple logic based, or it might be simple condition based, but inside that there is one field which is called as machine learning, right? It kind of focuses on learning from the data. In case of artificial intelligence, if you talk about outside of this bubble, it might be a simple condition, as I mentioned, right? If else condition. If button is pressed, then do something, right? Then do something, then speak, or then some voice will come out. So that kind of logic can be written, that kind of logic can be created without using the machine learning or the past data. But when I come in this particular bubble of machine learning, so in this particular bubble, in this particular field, what happens? You are going to use the past data to identify the pattern. So now you will have kind of machine learning. What it does, it will utilize thousands and thousands, lakhs and lakhs of data. Let's say if you have the data from 1920, 1920, 1921, 1922, so on and so forth. You have the revenue of the company, sales of the company, let's say $10, $12, $14. So our human mind can maybe understand. If I talk about 1923, you will say that it might be $16 if it $2 ka increase is happening. So you have identified some pattern over here, that every year $2 increase in sales. You can talk about in percentage as well, but keeping it simple, per $2 increase in my sales every year. So this pattern you have got. Similar to that, machine learning algorithm will try to find a pattern. It will try to find a pattern based on this data and then tell you what will happen in the future. And those algorithms are like logistic regression or linear regression. These are the simplest ones, right? These are the simplest ones, yet very powerful. And it goes on to, let's say, XGBoost, cat boost, ada boost, or random forest. These are complicated advanced algorithm that has been created, which comes under the machine learning domain. Now, inside machine learning as a field, you have deep learning. Now, deep learning, what it does, it tries to mimic our brain. So it's a subfield of machine learning is a subfield of artificial intelligence. Deep learning is a subfield of machine learning. So deep learning specifically, it mimics our brain, mimics our neural system. Now you will kind of understand and kind of you know look at it that our brain will do better on images, on videos, on music, on sound. We can analyze things better than the machine. But when it comes to numbers, we are not that good at it, right? We are not good at it because there is certain things which you have to change, which cannot be done by all these different algorithms like XGBoost, CatBoost, Random Forest. It was difficult by these algorithm to analyze the image, that in this particular image how many objects are there, or this what this image is all about, right? Or what this video is all about, what this text is all about, what this sound is all about. That our brain can do better, and that is what scientists they figured out, and they tried to mimic the neural system. So neural network as the base algorithm for deep learning, that has come in picture, and on top of it now recurrent, LSTM, you have BERT, you have convolutional neural network, all these advanced algorithm which comes under deep learning as a field. Okay. So when you are dealing with such data where it is unconventional type of data, not numbers like this, when you have image, videos, text, then in that case, your deep learning algorithm will come in picture. Now, after this deep learning, there is a new thing that has come up, which is generative AI. Now, generative AI is not a new thing as a concept, right? It is something which was there, but now it has become lot advanced. Earlier in deep learning, we used to have this RNN algorithm, which recurrent neural network algorithm, which used to predict that what is going to be next word. If you remember, guys, when and now also if you remember, like when you search on Google, right? When you search on Google, why, let's say India, it will give you lot of option. Why India has lot of states, why India has lot of uh, people, like has lot of population. So these kind of suggestions you will be getting in your search. This is also a kind of generative AI itself, right? It generated what you can be searching after that, and based on some popular and other logic, right? This also kind of used to generate that, okay, this is going to be your probable next word. But now, this was the earlier version. Now it has become much more advanced. Now, generative AI is something which can generate the data and some information based on what you have asked. It can generative AI ka matlab, it will generate the content. It will generate the information. If you ask about certain thing, if you give some prompt, if you ask some question, then it will try to analyze billions of data points and give a reason to what you are asking. You don't have to be very formula based, you don't have to be structure based. Whatever you give, based on that, it will try to give you the best answer possible, which is known to it. So here it is trying to generate the new information. It will try to generate the new face. It will try to generate the new image. It will try to generate the new video. That's what your generative AI is. New content is being generated in form of audio, video, or your text. New content is generated based on some context, not just random new content, but based on some context which you have provided. Now, deep learning versus generative AI, how this has become more niche in nature. In case of deep learning, it's not just about generating the content. A lot of times you try to identify what this image is. A lot of times you just want to do certain things where you don't want to generate any new image or video or anything. You just want to classify that whether screen of any mobile is broken or not. You want to get it from the image, right? That is a simple, let's say, deep learning algorithm. Sometimes you will look at okay, whether certain recommendation system is what you should be recommended as per the product you have bought earlier. that will come under machine learning category. So there you don't need any image, you don't need any further like video and anything to put it as a data. You need to just give the past transaction details and machine learning algorithm will recommend the next item for me. Deep learning mein, you need image, you want to put text over there, video over there to classify, to do certain things with those, right? Generative AI is you give the prompt, you give some information, it will generate the new data altogether, generate the new content altogether. So as in we go towards this side, it's more niche. Artificial intelligence is everything. Sub part is machine learning, sub part of machine learning is deep learning, and right now this generative AI is something that has come in picture, right? So when you understand about generative AI, it's not like that rest everything will go away, right? Your machine learning now it's no longer relevant. Only you will be learning generative AI. Generative AI is just a sub part which is intelligent in itself, and people are very much fascinated because we always try to get new information. We want to generate or somebody who can answer our question easiest way possible, right? That is what generative AI is doing, and that is why it is famous. But apart from generative AI, lot of other use cases are there in the industry where you will be using the concepts of machine learning, deep learning, etc., etc. In fact, all the problem statement which I showed you earlier, this what I showed you about business, healthcare, marketing, education, cybersecurity. Nowhere here we are using generative AI. It will be mix of machine learning, deep learning, and data science as a concept, right? So generative AI, it's a very niche thing. It's a very good thing which you are going to find, which you are going to you have to learn because it has changed the every company they have started using it. So it has changed the landscape of hiring, which I'm going to talk about next. So you should know generative AI, but on top of it, there are other things you should be clear about what you are going to what you are getting into, right? Fundamentals you have to be very clear about, and then generative AI is just a cherry on the top you should know. Now, going to different platforms, advancements in Gen AI. So this is something which I want to give you this particular PPT and this particular diagram. All these things you will be getting on email, but there are industry leaders now, and each and every domain. Let's say you have, if you want to do 3D modeling, you have Mirage CSM, which generates the 3D model based on your requirement. If you want to have, let's say, sales, so in sales you have these generative AI platform smartwriter.ai, so it will try to write the report or some pitch, uh, if what you want to give to a customer. So every field has now generative AI application which you can use for your own use cases, and companies are also using it. Out of all out of all the majority of the platform which people are using, OpenAI, Google AI, Anthropic Cloud AI, and Perplexity AI, these four people are using, and almost these four will cover all the use cases which you will be working on. So OpenAI and Google AI, where you have Bard, now it has changed to Gemini, right? So Gemini, and you have ChatGPT, DALI, you have Codex. Now you have different. Soda has also come in, right, which will generate the video. So these all different platforms which you are looking at, it is constantly changing and new advancements are coming in picture. Now, at the end of it, what you have to understand is that if you want to get into this field, how you are going to approach and what is that which you have to work on to make sure that you are at par with the requirement by companies. Now, that is something which I want to focus on after this particular slide, just to give you a bit of understanding that how does generative AI affects the future work. Let's talk about this, and then you yourself will try to start. You will start understanding that how these are going to be part of your day-to-day work. Okay, so when you have generative AI reshaping the future, you have different information over here. Like you have AI foundation models of global knowledge, you have AI foundation models of enterprise knowledge, you have other AI models and frameworks using near agent. Ye sab kuch what I'm talking about, these are the generative AI, let's say, algorithm or platform. Like OpenAI, ChatGPT. What they have done, they have taken lot of information, lot of data from all across the platforms, global knowledge, all the Wikipedia information, and lot of enterprise level knowledge, right? A lot of books, whatever is there on internet, they have taken that information, right? They have taken that particular data, and they have kind of put it in a algorithm which has been now made so smart that whatever you ask, it tries to find in that ocean of information to give you a structured answer. That's what your generative AI is. Now, what will happen? You will start using, right? Exactly, Shankar. Now I will come to that part as well. Now you will start using for generative info collection. You will start kind of using it for research. You will start using for automation, innovation, and decisions. Now, like Shankar has asked over, but Google also does the same. Is it? Does Google is also doing the same? No. Answer is Google. If you talk about Gemini, yes, because it is very much similar to ChatGPT, which is a generative AI model. But if I talk about the search engine, that's not what Google does. Search engine, it will give you the resource or the platform or the links which it finds best fit based on your question. Whatever you ask, based on that, whichever will be the most indexed or most matched or most relevant for that particular question, whichever link or whichever platform, it will suggest you. It does not matter. It some lot of times it will happen that your question and the links which has been suggested, those two are two different things. Maybe it could not find the relevant search for you. It will give you the direction. Google gives you the direction. If I talk about the search engine, that okay, based on your query, these are the potential platforms which you can explore to get your answer. But when I talk about generative AI will take in your question and generate the response for that. Not give you the links and other platforms where you can go and search and then read it further. Then you will realize that it might not be relevant. Here, it will try to give you the best answer possible. And now it becomes super important, right? In that case, it becomes important that that information has to be right. Whatever information has been given or created for you by chat gpt, whether that is structured or not. But in lot of cases, other than factual thing, you will find that answer is more or less there and rightly aligned. Now, coming back over here, types of things which generative AI will enable. You can do lot of decision making, lot of innovation with generative AI. Right now, lot of codes and the bug which you have got in your code, that you can put it in chat gpt and chat gpt will give you the answer. This is where potentially there is some error which you can find. Lot of problem statement you can give to chat gpt and it will give you a direction. Okay, if you want to get an email done, you can easily give a prompt and it will give you a structured email. Now, what happens over here, that if your if you want to do any work, now how generative AI will affect the future work? If so many things are coming in picture, then in that case, your generative AI will fasten your work. Matlab, if you were doing something in 3 4 days, it will be done in 1 day, or in fact in hours. If your quality of work was at a certain level, your quality of work will also increase. And you might realize now the level of email which you will write by yourself versus the level of or the structure which you get from chat gpt, there is a stark difference between those two. So that quality of work has increased. The code which you will be writing versus the code which will be given to you by chat gpt will be more structured. Right now, this is something which will keep on happening in future, and you will be integrating this generative AI in different systems, where it will generate some intelligence which will be suggestive for the next person to take up, right? When I am going to suggest to my manager or to my senior person, I will utilize ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will give some information to a certain level. I will structure it further, pass into the next stakeholder. That stakeholder will again take that information, utilize ChatGPT to structure the information, to take some action, and then it will pass it to next stakeholder. That is what your generative AI, that is how generative AI will come in and help you in optimizing the overall workspace, right? So here generative AI taking in information about lot of people, lot of experts. So like you, me, lot of people are there who have worked on different things, and that information is present. You don't have to go and research about all these things. Generative AI or OpenAI or ChatGPT or Google Gemini, it has that information. It will give you that structured information in front of you. You will use it to take it up further and do, let's say, if you want to pursue new market, you will search on the generative AI platform, and it will give you the aspect of that platform, what all different information which will be relevant for you. If you want to have this, if you want to design a new experience for your website, it will give you a direction. Okay, what you are thinking, looking at thousands and thousands of websites, this is how it should be done. I don't have to go and search for 10 different links, rather it will give me a summary at the end. Now point is, right now we use it to a level where we have to cross check with different platforms. Now in case of generative AI, in the future it will become smart enough to give you a very relevant factual kind of information, which will be which will be relevant, as well as you can rely on those. Now point is, if you have all these different use cases business has also figured out, then the overall hiring will also change, right? Your generative AI coming, this generative AI and all these platforms, it will change the hiring and requirement for data science as a domain. So now, earlier, our pre-generative AI era, 2 years back, if I talk about 2 years back, mostly the requirement was code, analyze, and present. It was about code, then if you can do, if you can analyze, and then after that, if you can present. These three were the criteria earlier. Earlier, these three, like all the companies, they wanted you to take up code, analyze, and present. When I say code, you write the, you use Python, you use SQL, different coding platforms or coding languages. Then after that, you are whatever information you have got, you analyze that, you extract actionable insights, and then after that, you put it in dashboard or BI tool to present it. But for fresher, because of this generative AI, automation has also come in picture. Now, companies, they want that, do you know how to integrate generative AI in the system? Do you know if you can automate the system with some intelligence, automated ETL pipelines, deploy AI solutions? Can you do that? Maybe you cannot, you are not expected to create a sophisticated algorithm because that is already present in the market. But can you take that algorithm and integrate in the system so that the intelligence comes in with automation? So this is something which has been the new criteria from different companies. So not just these three, automation is also something which comes in as a requirement for the fresher. So if you want to get into this side automation, apart from these three, you need to kind of get into the roadmap which I'm going to talk about. So next part is that what is the roadmap which you should be taking in 2025. Now with right now a lot of information already available on internet, what should be your structured way of approaching this whole field, right? Now you must have in mind that if you want to start this journey as a Python programming, and in case of data science as a field, right, it's no brainer. Everywhere you go, you will get the same answer for the Python program. This is something which is given, and everybody, you have to learn this Python programming and exploratory data analysis like Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib. No matter you are working in any company like Netflix, if you're working in big companies, Amazon, or if you're working in any startup, which they have like new age startup, all of them now, if they are doing data science and all of them are doing data science, they are using Python for their analysis. Are very few companies are using, very few in fact those companies are very old or early adopters of data science when they started using doing data science, but they used R language for that. But nowadays most of the companies, they are using Python. In fact, I would say 80 to 90% companies, if you are in data science, or in fact if you are in cloud development, cloud engineering as well, Python is something which is very much preferential. So Python and then exploratory data analysis. So when I say Python, there you have a core Python which you have to learn, like core coding, flow, control flow, for loop, while loop, oops class, all those things you have to understand to a certain level required for the data analysis role. And then you have exploratory data analysis where you learn how to analyze the data. So there you use some packages, some libraries like Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Pandas and NumPy for data wrangling, where you kind of clean the data, you deal with data. You have Matplotlib and Seaborn for visualization. And then you have, let's say, web scraping, where you collect the data from the internet. So that is something which which you have to learn, right? These two will focus more on Python, core Python, and different applications which you can kind of do different data operations which you can do using Python. Now, after that, you should be learning database management. So, in case of database management, you have SQL programming, DDL, DML, so data definition language, data manipulation language, different constraints. So, this is something which helps you manage the relational databases. So, nowadays, all the companies, they are putting their data on cloud platforms, right? They are putting their data on cloud platforms. And when I say cloud, it means AWS, Google, all these, Amazon, Google, they have provided you some space which is physical in nature, and they have rented you to put the data on them, like Google Drive. So Google Drive, where you put your data and you put your files, similar to that, if I have to store the data and all the websites and all the information, all the actions you put there, in that case we store all that data on cloud. So Google Drive is also a cloud only, where your data is present on cloud and you have all the files over there, right? Same goes with AWS and GCP, where enterprise level data is stored, relational databases are created, there are some tables. So how do you get the data from cloud and from databases? That is what your database management is, and that is what you will be doing using SQL. Now, Python and SQL, in the sequence itself, you should be doing, because first you should know the understanding of how coding works, and that is Python. After Python, you should be getting into doing exploration with Python. And here, mostly you will be dealing with, from wherever you learn, mostly you will be dealing with CSV, Excel. These are the initial form of data or data which you will be using to do the analysis. But when you come here, you go from CSV, Excel to databases, servers, and tables. This is what you will be kind of doing in case of database management. Now you have gone and you have understood that if I want to get the data from certain database or from cloud, I can do the analysis. Next is, how do I present? So all three will come under code. As I mentioned, we have code, analyze, present, and automation. These four things you have to work on to get yourself eligible to get hired, right? So these three modules will help you understand how to code. Then after that, you have analyze, bit of analysis is here. And here you have analyze, and you have here present. Both of these, because analyze is here as well in exploratory data analysis, but in business intelligence tools, when you are working on this, when you are looking at Excel, when you're working on your business dashboarding tools like Tableau, Power BI, Looker Studio. So Tableau, Power BI, these two are enterprise level. Looker Studio is free, given by Google. So you can learn any one of these. You will understand how to analyze the data and how do you present the data. It's important that you know how to present it. How do you create good charts? How do you do a storytelling over there? That is something which you have to learn, and that comes under this particular fourth stage. Now, after one, two, three, four, more or less, you are ready for data analyst roles as a fresher. This gives you good level of understanding. You can start kind of looking for jobs, but on top of it, there are some things which you have to understand to make yourself further strong in the skill set. That is applied analytics, where you learn about probability distributions, hypothesis testing, confidence interval, experiment design, A/B testing, web analytics, and different other terms which you see over here. These are again very important. On top of what you have learned, all these gives you a framework to do the analysis further. It gives you, if you have to make decision about something, how do you design the experiment? If you have, let's say, any problem statement, how do you define the hypothesis? How do you say that whether some hypothesis you have to reject? How significant some analysis is, or how significant the result is? Whatever data you are analyzing, whether that info, whether that data is correct or not, all those things you will be learning in this applied analytics, where you have to, and these all terms which you see, these are super important. You can go and search about it. You will get all the different information about this. So if you learn probability distribution, hypothesis testing, confidence interval, these terms are very important. Search and you can learn about these things. This gives you a framework to do the analysis. This gives you a framework to kind of how to approach any data and do the analysis. That is what you get. Now, lastly, you have the machine learning and applied AI, right? You have machine learning and applied Gen AI. So now this is something which is kind of like extra, which which will help you be better than anybody else, right? Kind of have an extra edge. So this is where automate will come in picture, right? This is where your automate with intelligence will come in picture. You have machine learning, and then you have Gen AI engineering. All these combined, you will be getting the understanding of here. If you want to do the prediction, how do we do that, right? This is the correct way which you have to follow in this particular sequence. It will take you almost 6 to 8 months. That is how it is going to be used. And initially, if you want to get into this field, if you want to start your journey, it takes almost 5 to 8 months. 5 months, why I'm saying, because 1 2 3 4, if you come until here, then mostly it will take 5 months, where you are kind of ready to take your leap. Then after that, you have this applied analytics and the last part, which is machine learning and Gen AI. This will take further 2 3 months, and then after this, after 8 9 months, you are more or less ready to take the next leap. You are ready to take the jump, right? Or mostly skill wise, not more than this you will be required, right? Further about this, if you want to know about each and every topic, and if you want to go further, that how it should be structured, so this is what we have done it. And we have seen almost, like, we have seen lot of placements. We have seen placements over the last 3 4 years. Last year itself, we have got the placement of, in 2024, we have the placement of almost 700 plus students. Okay. So in 2024, these 700 plus students who got placed, lot of them were from data science, web development field. So for data scientists, we have seen that, and considering all the different hiring partners we have, you will see that this is what I'm talking about. More or less, this is what will resemble in all the job description they are requiring, because we know that if you know all these, if you have the right skills, if you have these skills specifically, in this year, or in fact in the next coming year, 1 year or 2 years, you will be kind of ready for taking the decision of, or taking the jump to this data science field, right? All right. So these are the required technical skills which will help you to start your career. And whatever whatever different terminologies which you see, core Python, control flow functions, and exception handling, and towards the end, GenAI engineering, everything is a term. When you go and search, you will find the relevant, resources. You will find the relevant information, and you can take it up further. It takes almost 6 to 8 months to have a structured learning. In fact, when you search, when you go and let's say look at our program and platform, there are a lot of free resources which you can refer. So it's all about explore from your end, and when you start finding this whole field interesting, you yourself will kind of take the structured approach of learning, right? Next, the last bit, there are last two questions which I want to take up, that you guys are kind of very clear about what you are getting into. So, scope of non-tech background candidates in data science field. So we will talk about the financial year 23 and 24. 24, 25, we will be kind of looking at it, but mostly 23, 24, same pattern. It is right now in this year as well. What we have seen, that this non-tech background people, if they want to get into data science field or if they want to get into tech field, data science is something which they can get into, because right now in data science field, it's not just about coding. It requires business understanding, it requires communication, it requires how do you present, how do you do a storytelling. So all those different things are there which comes under data science. That is why there is no preference as such that you should be from computer science background or you should be from this xyz background. If you have the right skills, lot of companies they are hiring. So this is something which I am right now putting it, that companies first preference or must have preference, which they have put it in the for the fresher role for the year 2023 to 2024. So in that case, all the different requests which we got from companies, almost 70% ke around companies, they wanted data science skill. If somebody has data science skill, please send me the resume. We will do the further process apart on top of it, right? And that you can see that majority of the people, if they are non-tech background, they will get kind of shortlisted if they have the right skill, and that is how it works. If you have the right skills, if you have right portfolio to showcase them, if you have the project in your resume, you will be given chance during interview, and then after that again it's all part of the process and learning which you have got. So most of the, or in fact 70% of the companies, they are inclined towards that I want people who have right skill. Now, I'm going to tell you that 25, 26% colleges or companies are there who are mostly focusing on stream or colleges. So they look for, let's say, tier one college, or they are looking for certain specific stream, that I want people from finance background, I want people from mechanical background, or I want people from electrical background, because their product, they want to have people who have both the understanding, maybe electrical, mechanical plus data science as a skill. So that is something which we have got for 25% of the companies, or in fact more than that, 26, 27% of the companies, they want, they have some specific preference apart from skill as the first preference. Now, this is very small chunk, very rare as well. So English or regional. So a lot of companies, they are very much into that. Okay, my client is from US, so I need people who have very good skill of English, or who have very good communication skill. Or sometimes they have regional client as well, so they want regional language, let's say Tamil, Bengali. So that is also sometimes kind of, you will see as a preference by companies. But English is almost, let's say, most of them will have the English as a preference. For few companies, they have the regional language preference as well. So overall, if I talk about what do we get from this particular pie chart, that this data science skill, when I talk about, if it is 70% around companies, they have the first preference as that I want to see if people are good at data science skill, I am going to hire. Then in that case, you have the chance. And most of the case, may it will happen that your interviewer, that person also will be from, let's say, some background which means not directly data science, or your colleague will not have some any degree specific to data science, right? It's all about skills right now, because it's going to be a combination of interdisciplinary different skills. You need, if you are in data science field, you need coding, but not just coding, you need business as well. You need to have a business understanding. Sometimes people who are in commerce background, or if they have some finance understanding, they excel in business understanding. So there you need to have then other things where you will be working on. If you are from CS background, then in that case coding is something which might feel easy for you, but business is not easy, right? You need to then understand around the business aspect. After that you have communication. Now communication is totally different. Sometimes people, they are not good at business or not good at coding, but if they are good at communication, then rest everything becomes very easy for them, right? So you need to have one skill. Let's say after this you have mathematics. You need to have a understanding of mathematics as well, not to a level of calculus and very deep mathematics, but you should be fair in mathematics, because you will be dealing with data, and data at the end, it is about the maths itself, right? Whether you are dealing with image, videos, the data which you will be there for you, it will be in form of numbers itself, right? So you will be dealing with some kind of multiplication, matrix, algebra. So that is going to be very common. So you need to have the understanding of mathematics. So coding, business, communication, and mathematics. So all four kind of combines together. All four kind of combines together to become a data science as a field. So it's not like that you there is a specific non-tech or tech where you know coding, then only you can get here. There might be other side where you are good at, you have some understanding about. Combined with coding, it will be complete, or combined with, let's say, communication and coding, it will be complete. So that is how it will work. So in non-tech background, companies, they are not biased about you. Rather, if you have the good skill, you will be kind of getting into this. Now, talking about, this is where you enter into this field. Now, how your career trajectory will look like in next career trajectory in next 3 to 4 years. So here, mostly people who are from non-IT background, right? Now, this is something which is kind of like a majority of the people. Not everybody will take the same direction. But if majority of the people over here from non-IT background, they try to pursue their career further in business from data analyst. So they want to become product managers. They want to take more business oriented roles. Let's say senior marketing analyst or VP of analyst. That kind of role that person takes, and mostly get towards the product managers and person who are kind of being involved in the regular business, right? So these type of roles, they are that is being preferred by non-IT professionals, because they have some understanding about different domain, and they want to combine that different domain with data science to grow in their career overall. Let's say if you have finance understanding, you will try to get in more financial analyst type of things, right? If you have, let's say, marketing experience, you get into marketing. So that is what mostly non-IT people, they try to take up. And not just this marketing and finance I'm talking about. A lot of times they have the understanding of mechanical. If they have the understanding in mechanical or some experience in mechanical, they want to pursue this career in mechanical plus tech, which is data science, and they are excelling. I have examples for companies like Flutura. A lot of people are there who are in mechanical, who were from mechanical background, and now they have done the data science, and they are really doing great at there. So this is something which is mostly focused by non-IT. But if you are from, let's say, IT background, CS domain, not just these, but a lot of non-IT also prefer this. If you are right after the college, if you have gotten the chance to get into data science field, then you have sky is the limit, whatever suits you. If you are interested in technical side, you can get into machine learning engineer in next 3 to 4 years. You become ML ops engineer, you become data engineer, starting from data analyst and then towards the data science field. You kind of get into these roles, which takes your game altogether to a next level. Then you have lastly research. Now this is something which is very much kind of taken by all the different domains if you are interested, because here people generally get into AI researcher, AI ML lead. Here people generally go to do the PhD and do further education and deep dive into the study or academic side of it, right? These two are mostly applications, practical side, right? Lot of application side here it is going, right, in these two, business and technical. But when you go in research, it's something which comes under academia. You try to take a PhD, and become, you know, AI researcher working on developing a new sophisticated algorithm altogether, complicated algorithm altogether. But that totally depends upon your interest. Where do you want to go? In most of the cases, this part is taken by hardly 1 or 2% people, but this is something which is taken by 60 to 70% of people. And then here you have rest if you talk about 35, 30 to 35%. Okay, mostly this is what it comes, and in this case you will have what 1 to 2%. When I'm saying very few people will be taking, so majority of the people they get into business side only. Then after that you have second level pay technical, where you become ML engineer, and then after that you have research. Very few people will be interested in that. Okay, now, this is where I wanted to give you guys a confidence about that. If you are in non-tech, you can take it up. No matter how do you want to take up your structured journey, you have the roadmap. You will get all these things in email as well. I will put this link in the chat as well. You can refer this particular PPT to take it up further. But at the end, the whole idea is, as a non-tech, if you want to get into data science in 2025, it's not something where you will be wasting your time. You will get a direction, and if you have the skill you will be preferred, and at the end you have a career trajectory as well. It's not like that you will be always working on pressure level itself. You have a career trajectory which you can take. Next, the last question which I want to take up, and after that I will be kind of answering your questions, guys. Whatever questions you have, meanwhile you can start putting it in the chat or in the Q&A. And the last question which I want to take up is, will AI replace data scientists in future? This is a very interesting kind of question. And in this, all the sessions in classes, in all the sessions on LinkedIn, a lot of people, they reach out to me and all the working professional actually, that what's the scene over here? I am in college right now, or I am right now as a fresher. Will AI replace my, right? Will AI replace this particular job? So all these things people generally ask because they're also worried about their future. They're also worried about what will happen in the next 2 years after I come out. So here, this particular question, if I talk about this truly, very few people, or very few people will have the right answer, who are, let's say, deep in, or who can see the future. And in fact, nobody has the right answer to this. Okay, will AI replace data scientists in future? But talking about the generic sense, looking at the trend of last 3 to 4 years, as well as what big people are talk how big people are kind of speculating all these things. You have to understand this one thing, that AI will replace few of the roles. And if one or two roles are kind of not there relevant in the industry, there will be new roles coming in. But AI will never replace data scientist or data analyst event. Okay, because right now you might be thinking, "Ki, what's so special about this?" But when you start working on data, when you start looking at the complexities what you can data can provide, and when you look at that how much research or how much solution designing, or how much you need to kind of have the perspective of human, you will understand that it's not that easy to get replaced by AI. Now, what will happen after 10 years? I don't know. But I'm for sure here that AI won't replace data scientists. It will simply turbocharge their research game while handling the mundane task. And this is actually said by a lot of experts in the market, right? They say that AI will not replace data scientists, because data scientists, why it is coming specific to data scientists? Because data scientists, they only create AI, right? So what will happen? Will AI replace data scientists altogether? The answer is no. AI will not replace, rather it will turbocharge their research game. So now you will be more working on designing the solution, researching about things, and putting your mind on different factors and different more data which you should be putting in, while your day-to-day coding and mundane tasks will be taken up by Gen AI. So here there are four stages of your problem. Like if you are working on a project, there are four stages over here. So first stage is problem statement identification, and this is something which is the majority of which takes in majority of your time. So if you have the right problem statement identified, then it becomes easy after this that how you are going to approach your problem statement, what type of data you will be using, what should be done after this. But problem statement identification is the most important step for any company, and this is something which you will be hearing a lot when you join the company as well. You might be thinking कि problem statement सब पता ही होता है, but actually होता नहीं है ऐसा. प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट निकालना और उसको समझना कि राइट प्रॉब्लम व्हाट इज दैट राइट प्रॉब्लम, that is something which takes lot of time, and here it's very difficult for any AI to pitch in at this current level or at this current complexities which we have in the world. Here you need human experience to identify the problem statement. After this, you have research and solution design. So once you have identified the problem, you start researching about solution design. So in this case, when you are researching and designing the solution, here you will not be able to replace, or you will not be able to kind of any company, they won't be able to replace you and put AI in place of it. Because the reason is when you do the research and when you do the solution design, you design the solution, you want to take the consideration of human and their emotions as well as their aspects. Any program you design, any solution you design, any system you design, you are designing that for human, right? So here AI will not be able to design it for the human, because once it starts, it will look at only the information which you have given to AI, right? The Giving an example, you might have heard about that lot of times in US, they used to use the facial recognition to identify the probability of somebody doing the criminal activity. And somehow, there, black people were more susceptible. Black people were diagnosed as that person can be criminal, because lot of criminals on which that AI or that model was trained was from the black people only, right? So that is why there was a bias which AI was kind of showing in the result as well. So that kind of problem statement only human can kind of understand and design it. So that is why, and that is one of the example. So any solution, any problem ka solution you are designing, you will always keep in mind it is for the human, what all things and how it should be designed, how it should be simplified, how much cost it will take, what should be the timeline of the project. Every company, they have different budgets, and accordingly you have to think about how your solution can be or problem can be solved. Now, these two places, the above chart here, mostly human, and this is where we will be kind of involved a lot as a data scientist in coming future. That is what is called as turbocharging their research game. So here you will be using the AI to research about something, but now at the end of it, you will be there to take the call. This part, when you come to now development phase, when you have figured out what the solution would be, then mostly you have AI, you have ChatGPT, or you will have some AGI, some high level AI will be developed. They will be developing the code, they will be coding it for you. And right now, this is where most of the use case of ChatGPT or any generative AI is. Okay, any AI you talk about, mostly this is where people are using it the most and thinking that, okay, all the work is being done by ChatGPT. No, actually, this is the easiest part. This one is the easiest part. ये जो बाकी ये first दो है ना, these are the two most difficult things. After that, this development phase is easiest, because now you know what you need to do. It's easy to do. When you know what to do, it's easy. Okay, so development phase is something where your AI will definitely help you out, and human will kind of uh, kind of put all the mundane tasks being done by AI. And lastly, you have Once your development phase is done, you have product release, quality, impact analysis. Here you will have 50-50, because here product release, you want to check the quality, what will be the impact of this particular project or particular solution. Human will also be part of it, and AI will also be definitely part of it in this particular part, because the testing will be done, but there will be a lot of automated testing as well. Feedback, user feedback analysis, that can be analyzed by AI as well, but also you need human over there to take the final call. So overall, your project or your problem statement is not just going to be coding where AI will come and code it for you, but it will start from identification of problem. It will then go to research and solution design, and then it will come to coding, which is just one part of four different stages. And then at the end, you have release of product, quality, impact analysis. So all these where you have the AI as well with you, but you will be there driving the whole thing, right? So there are four different stages, and these stages, it's not just it, right? It's a condensed form of lot of different steps which happen when you work on a problem statement in the industry, right? Coming from, let's say, the problem statements which I have worked on, I have spent 6-7 months on a few problem statements, which it took 6-7 months, right? And with a team of 3 to 4 people. What do you think everyday people are doing? It's not like they are wasting their time. Every day something or the other started with problem statement identification. You have to first prove that, okay, what you are working on is significant enough. Once you have proved that, then how it should be designed so that it is minimal cost, optimal solution, what is possible right now, what can be done in other versions, that next part. Then after that, coding will start, then release, challenges with releases. You speculated that everything will work fine, but then user came and it has a different flow altogether. So a lot of different things where manual intervention is required. So in near future, AI will not replace data scientists specifically, but it will definitely turbocharge the game of research. It will help you with research. It will help you analyze lot of data faster. It will help you with lot of quality work, but towards the end it will not replace you. So that is all from my end, guys. That is what I wanted to have discussion with you guys. So I will be taking questions from you. Kailash sir, where can I find the current recording? You take a class last half an hour. You will be getting on email, and also you will be getting on dashboard. So from where you joined the event, you will be getting on AlmaBetter website/event. First of all, let me share this link with all of you guys. Let me share this link. Let me share this link. Let me check. This is what the material link is. If you want to follow, guys, if you want to follow any let's say terminologies, if you want to look at the roadmap, follow this and you guys can take it out further, right? And also you will find the recording on the AlmaBetter website dashboard. It will be shared to you on over email. Okay, now let me take up the question. So in Q&A, we have very interesting questions over here. So let me put it in slideshow only. Okay. So Isha Obrai is asking, how can I build a career in quantum computing? देखिए, Isha, right now what will happen? Quantum computing, it's something which will take its own time. So when I'm saying this, it's not something immediately it will come to uh, a stage where enterprises and very commonly people are using it, or in fact companies are using it, right? So what will happen, it will take its own, you will also take your own journey of 2 to 3 years. Now what will happen, you will start your journey with, let's say, some tech side. Let's say you start as a data scientist, or you start as a web developer, something in IT domain. Then you take the next step as cloud computing. You understand the current cloud system, which is AWS, which is Azure or GCP. You take the current system of cloud computing, how it is integrated in the at the enterprise level. And then while you are learning it, then you will see that cloud quantum computing is also something which is coming in and getting integrated over there. Abhi, it's very much concentrated on research side. You will not get lot of material which is relevant, and even if you learn today, you might not be able to get the job which is relevant to quantum computing. It's fine that you start following it from now, but your journey will going is going to be like this only. You get into IT domain, then after that you get the understanding of cloud computing, which is there in the current industry, and then after that, once industry starts adopting it, then you kind of get into quantum computing. Again, if you want to get into research side of it, that's a different field altogether. You need to, it depends upon your profile. You need to apply in colleges where it is like they are doing quantum computing research. Very few universities and colleges are doing, right? Very few. Even if you try to get into that, it becomes very difficult. Okay, so it's going to be a journey. Start from where you are right now, and then over the years, as it penetrates in the industry, you will have the advantage over anybody else, because you will have the understanding of cloud computing, which is current, and then as per the further, you can go ahead. Sukanya, is the foundation track that we have sufficient to start a career as a fresh data scientist, or is it just no? So what you are talking about, Sukanya, we have added in our foundation track. If you talk about AlmaBetter's course, so there it is more than enough for fresher data scientists. In fact, it is more than what you will be asked. Just to be sure that we are covering that last 1 or 2% companies as well, who will be asking some MLAI questions. Otherwise, till module 4, you are good enough to join as a data analyst. As you proceed to module 5 and module 6, you get a deeper understanding about data science, and you can definitely join as a fresher data scientist. You don't have to. Swapnil, I am 38 years old with 15 years of experience. How will I get in data science and AI field and non-IT background? How it helps? Okay. Swapnil, here, first of all, you have to ask yourself that in the field which you might be working, or whatever you have done until now, right? If you have the question that, okay, if I'm going to learn data science and AI, where I am going to apply this? How in the current experience which I have, it can be integrated. Okay, so abhi kya hoga ki if you want to join as a fresher, that's totally on you, and industry will be acceptable. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, if you want to start your if you want to shift your direction altogether. Other side is, you should be looking forward to what skills you have got, because 15 years of experience you have got in some field, right? In that field, how AI can be integrated, and where is that sweet spot, right? Let's say if you have done if you have sales uh, experience in sales, and you have learned AI, so in that case, think about how can I get into business analyst side of it. If you have marketing, how can I get into marketing analyst? Because this 15 years, you must have got experience which is very in depth in nature. You have got that experience which all the companies will respect, because when you work in industry for 15 years, not just technical thing will matter in companies. Even if you are going in IT industry, apart from technical skills, there are soft skills, and with experience, soft skill is something which you will be really good at, right? Or it will be better than lot of freshers. They know, how industry works, how team works, how to do collaboration. So there are certain things which you are good at. So combining all those plus 15 years of experience in the field which you have got, and think about how data science and AI can be integrated. That is where the the right zone would be, where you can get into. It does not have to be the exact work, but think about the industry as well, that in which industry you have got 15 years of experience, in which role you have got. Because if you have done in specific industry, you have that industry where you can take it forward. Okay, I hope I have answered your question, Swapnil. But coming here, as 15 years of experience, I need to have a bit of understanding that what how your journey has been, because this is going to be a really interesting thing for me as well, to understand, to know you further and guide you. So definitely reach out to our team, and then if it helps you, then I will be there to help you out too. Roshan, then we have here, what is the shape of growth between business and technical side of data scientists? Good question, actually, Rohan here. So initially, so over the time, the truth is, over the time, Rohan, when you talk about business side or technical side, over the time of 5 to 6 years, you will be reaching to a same level, which will be a certain salary where both the technical and business people will be reaching that level, right? And that might be of senior VP director level position where you will be reaching. Now, in terms of CTC, what happens in terms of CTC? If you are getting into tech side, if you are getting into tech side, your initial jump will be high, and then after that, your kind of you will get stuck. But when you are in business, you will have a gradual jump. You will also reach over here, you will also reach here, but this particular jump will not happen. You will have a gradual increase. That is what is difference between if you choose tech side versus business side. Because ultimately, if you are director in tech or if you're director in business, more or less you will be paid same level pay. Okay, but only thing is, here immediate jump, here you have a gradual jump. That is how it actually works. Sure. If we are interviewing for a data science role, do companies also ask for code algorithms from a scratch, like as a fresher? Do we need to learn? No. Sure, never. That's what the kind of understanding which everybody should have, that you don't need to explain everything from scratch. There are some fundamental thing which is important. Let's say if somebody is asking, okay, simple algorithm which you might be not knowing as of now, but linear regression or linear equation, ये सब आप लोगों को पता होगा. So that is like a fundamental of everything. So it's a very fundamental or basic level of machine learning. For that, you should be knowing. But as it become more complex, you don't need for all. You just need the framework how machine learning works, or whatever you are asked. Application side is something which companies are more interested in, because as a data scientist or data analyst, initial as a fresher, we are the operators, we are the application person, practical person who will be using the algorithm and applying it practically. We will be using the tool and then solving our problem statement. You should be you should have more understanding towards the application rather than deep inside mathematics and algebra. It will never be there. If mathematics ka level, if you want to ask me, it will be mostly around probability, statistics, algebra, not more than that. Never on deeper of deep side of algorithm. Never. You will never be asked that. Sudarshan. So I have been enrolled in this course. Great. I have experience as an IT trainer. Don't have degree on the same. Will it impact career route, or it mostly depends upon my course itself? It depends here. Sudarshan, what happens? Uh, you will be eligible for the job, of course, based on the skill. And if you want to grow in your career, as I mentioned, that if you want to after 2 years, 3 years, or if you want to take a leap because you have some experience as well, if you want to kind of be deeper into this field, you have to choose business or tech or research. You have to take one career direction, right? And if you have experience as IT trainer, I believe that you might be interested in taking a technical route over there. In that case, you should have a degree of computer science or something or the other, as in you go for. It's important with skills. You should have some degree, but not maybe right now, or not depends upon your current situation, but this will help you out in further growth. If you do MBA, it's business side you will grow. If you do masters in computer science, or if you do some degree relevant to that, it will help you grow in that degree, in that phase. But right now, maybe what you are doing, continue doing that, right? I don't want to give you anything that what you have been enrolled to, that's not going to give you any result. That will definitely give you result, but the future, when you want to make it more deeper understanding, or if you want to take it a further, let's say, we have also degree program, right? If you want, you can explore that extra thing what you are learning. That is not going to be helpful as a fresher, because as a fresher, the foundation track is something which you can take up. But as you want to make your journey more CTC wise higher, or role wise senior level position, then specialization track, industry immersion track will help you with that. In fact, whole master's degree kind of gives you an understanding of 2 years, 3 years of experience. So as per your current situation and current level, you should be taking that call. Right now, the course you have enrolled, that will give you a job definitely, where you can start your journey in data science field. Okay, Anurag is asking, how does career year impact in terms of employment opportunities? Not at all. Okay, not at all, because at the end of it, we have seen all the different forms, all the different people as a career gap. They have been getting the employment opportunities. It's all about are you able to talk about your career gap with confidence? And just think from other side of it, because interviewers, companies, they're also human, right? They are not going to punish you because of career gap, because there can be lot of reasons. It might be because of health, it might be because of other reasons, family reasons. You might be working on some startups, or there can be multiple different reasons during that gap year. Why they would like to reject you just because of that? Right? They want to understand or know your story. If you are able to talk about that story, if you are able to help them understand that what did you do in that year, how it's going to right now, how what you do right now, how much that is relevant to the job description, it's going to be on that only. Okay, so don't worry about it. All these things generally in our course, in AlmaX or in general classes also, I lot of time discuss around that. If you have a career gap, how you should be discussing about those, how you should be talking about what different questions, what should be your story. So that is something which you have to take up. Don't worry about this career gap at all. Like, it's not required to be worried about. You just have to focus on the skills, and at the end, you will see the result. Isha, can someone expect ML engineer role as a fresher if develop end-to-end full stack ML projects like web scraping to deployment? ML engineering as a fresher, it's something which is very difficult, Isha, I would say. Okay? So it takes its own time. It will take its own time. If you have, let's say, some development experience, let's say you have worked as front end developer, or you have worked as a web developer for 1 or 2 years, then you want to get into data science field, then it is possible. But as a fresher, altogether fresher, not having any experience in IT, and then you want to get into ML engineer, it's difficult, because everything has its own journey, right? ML engineer, they have lot of responsibilities. Any company, they will have 1 or 2 ML engineer, 4 or 5 data analysts, and then accordingly they will have number of data scientists. So ML engineers, if they are there, they will have lot of responsibilities around the tech understanding, the deployment, the complexity of systems. So it will require experience from your end to solve those questions, solve those problem statements. So that is why companies also, they want to have experienced folks. And ML engineer, they are kind of willing to give more salary, and that's why they want to get experienced people for that, because the role itself is very crucial in the bigger scheme of things. All right. I hope I have answered all the questions in the Q&A. Do we have anything in chat? Uma. So, sir, I want to understand how AI will help me as an advocate to have an edge over any other fellow advocates. Good question, actually, Uma, and very interesting question as well. So, first of all, Uma, here, if I talk about AI, this Gen AI is something which is going to be your friend in terms of analyzing different cases. So one thing which I feel, right? In fact, I might have very limited understanding about the world of law, right? As an advocate, you must have a lot of understanding about that. So there, this one thing which I feel is getting the information about certain case, right? You need to have information, you need to have information about law. Not everything you can remember, right? Not everything you can remember, not everything you can keep in mind. So you always have to search, you always have to look at past cases, you always have to analyze some information. Then only you can have right argument, then only you can have right approach to the case, right? And that is where actually AI will help you out, right? That is where your use case of, let's say, if you use simple chat gpt, you can put document over there, and then you can tell it to summarize the document, which takes you, let's say, 3 4 hours to read. It will give you the summary of 1 hour, right? Summary in a way that you can complete it in 1 hour, right? That is where your whole thing will become very much easy to go forward. On top of it, when I talk about AI, right, when I talk about AI, Uma, in your case as an advocate, one more thing that will help you is lot of information which is there, which you have to search it on Google. Lot of information where you have to go through links, lot of links. Maybe if you start using ChatGPT, you can directly search it over there and it will give you the crux of the case, crux of the case, if you want to get about it. Okay, so all those things are going to be a side where you are, your time will be saved of doing the research. Okay, now next part, each and every step, right, wherever you are, I would say wherever you are dealing with, maybe let me think about it. Okay, what or what more can be there in terms of interesting use case? Because one thing is very clear, that summarization of text, summarization of documents, summarization of lot of books, let's say constitution itself, which IPC, which thing, all those things can be just uploaded in chat GPT and it will give you the summary over. Apart from that, this what takes most of your time, Uma? It's very interesting. I want to ask you first that what step actually takes most of your time during to work on a case? What actually takes most of your time? Can you answer me? Apart from the research and apart from anything else, one more thing can be, okay, now I have got one very interesting thing. So the filing, you have to write a legal structured way where you have to create agreements, you have to do some filings, you have to write it down as well, right? If you want to send some notice, that also you work on as an advocate, right? That there also you will get lot of help from the AI and chat GPT. Correct? It's two things, right? Doing the research and writing these documents, legally correct documents, right? Proofreading all those things. These two, I believe, these two are very time-taking, lengthy process which you do. And these two will be something where if you start using it, it will reduce down your time. Of course, you have to do proofread. You have to look at all the factual or in terms of constitution or in terms of law, everything is aligned properly, but at the end of it you can definitely use it, you know. Correct, correct. Iksha Orai, sir, can you throw some light on AlmaX program? Of course. So AlmaX program, Iksha, it is something which helps you work on polishing yourself, right? It helps you work on polishing yourself. In this case, when I'm telling you, like, let's say AlmaX, when you learn what you learn during your pre-AlmaX in your program, there you are going to work on all the technical things. You learn all the coding, analysis, etc., etc. But on top of it, you need to work on mock interviews. You need to work on resumes. You will need to work further on different projects. So that is something which where you are going to be, you will be helped in during the almax, mostly business communication, mock interview, and giving you that confidence. Okay, giving you that confidence. That is what your almax program would be. And on top of it, if you want to get the further understanding, if you want to get the further understanding, definitely team is there. You can reach out, because I know that you are in my class as well, so we can have further discussion. Yes, after completion, Kaila's placement will start. All right. Swapnil, pharmaceutical industry. Great. Great. If you are in pharmaceutical industry, then healthcare, as I mentioned during the initial discussion itself, that healthcare is going to be a booming industry. Healthcare is something which lot of problem statements this particular industry is adopting. Lot of companies like ZS Associates. In fact, we have lot of I think two, three hiring partners. They specifically hire in healthcare domain, so that might be helpful for you, Soplin. So you have a very good industry where you are coming from, and on top of it, if you have data science skill, definitely you will see. Okay, definitely you will see the result. So don't worry about it. Chaliye, that is all from my end, guys. We have we have here admission counselor with us. We have Navneet. So all of you guys, if there is anyone who want to take this whole program further, if you want to discuss with our admission counselor, if you're interested in the program, then definitely you can have a you can have a discussion with him. He will be taking the stage further, guys. And all the best to all of you. Happy New Year, and wish you guys a very good year and very successful year to everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Now, Navneet, I hope you are here.
Yep, I am here. Thank you so much, Alok sir.
Hey, Navneet, thank you so much. And now, stage is yours. Please take it up from here. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Have a nice day.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Hey guys, hey, hi. How are you doing? All? I hope you guys are doing good. Just give me a moment. Are you all available? Can I get a hi over the chat box? And yes, like I have joined this particular session to give an insight to those like who yet do not know about our platform, right? And also most of the insights about what exactly AlmaBetter does as a platform. So I believe you all had a great session with Alok sir where your doubts and everything got cleared. And at the same point of time, yes, the session was quite interactive in terms of the AI engagement and generative AI, how it is taking up the industry, right? So most of the fact about Alma Better, I believe the candidates who are already enrolled, they might be knowing it, and the candidates who are not yet aware of the things, they just got to know about this webinar, might be knowing it for the very first time, right? So I just came and joined this session to give you an insights there, right? Let me just share my screen and give me a few minutes so that I can give you a clear insights about what exactly we do and how exactly we go ahead with the things for the candidates who are looking to get a destination into the field of data science, right? So sit your belts tight and basically bucket up, and we will take this ahead. So the very first thing, the very first introduction about Alma Better is the we got introduced in the market in the year 2019, and we are a community first learning platform. Like what exactly a community first learning platform is, the candidates who are already enrolled, they might be knowing it in a better way. That whatever the batches which we conduct in slots, normally this batches contain separate students over there, right? Now these students, they do love to study in groups, which we call as peer-to-peer learning, which we used to do in school and colleges, right? Now how exactly this peer-to-peer learning helps whenever you are looking for some resolutions, and at that time when your faculty is not available, then someone from your team, someone from your batch gives you a proper solution of it in a better understanding or the language which you love to know from, right? To study in groups, projects, normally you get assigned to multiple projects over the modules you go through, right? Which I will be showing you in this session, right? And accordingly, when you do project in teams, it gives you an insights about how other person's viewpoint is. Now what your viewpoint is not like what will be similar to others as well, right? So accordingly, like you get to know the viewpoint of others, which gives you an idea that how to approach the things in a better manner. When you get ready for jobs, normally when you complete the program, now you're expecting placements and all, you get complete placement, like preparation from our end. But at same point of time, when you are in your free hours, you also can interact with your batchmates to go ahead and do the preparation on one-on-one, right? So that you give your 100%, so that to move ahead the things in a positive manner. That's how we basically focus on peer-to-peer learning. Now as we all know that those who are not yet aware of our platform, they might be researching about the things all over the internet, that where they can get a best platform to start the preparation. And there are hundreds, not 200s of platform right now in the market, if I'm not wrong. Now choosing from that, it's a very difficult task. Now let me show you that why exactly Alma Better, right? It will be completely your choice at the end of the day that which platform you would be opting, but it's our actually like particular enhancement that we can show you that why exactly Alma Better is different. So the very first thing is when you are starting to become as an aspirant, right? If you're an aspirant to data science field, you always look for starting the things from base, right? You want to start the thing from scratch, and you start the things from there which industry is using on real time. So that's how our curriculum is developed, which industry is actually following, and we start the things from very scratch to advanced level. Moreover that, it's not like you have to go to the recordings. When you get to attend live sessions, right? So at that point of time, you get to interact with your faculty, know their values in real time, understand them in real time. Moreover, that if you're missing on live class, the recording lectures are actually available in your dashboard, which you get access to lifetime. So see, even if you got placed and later on in future you require any assistance in terms of any project, you can again come back to your dashboard and see the things and the basics so that you can improve it there, right? And also, like when it comes to the hiring in this particular industry, it's not like always skills matter. Every time the things which interviewer will be focused on is justification of your skills. Like just giving an example, like if I am a candidate, I know Python, I know SQL, I know Tableau, right? But I mentioned all these things in my resume in letters, but I have never worked on those skills. Interview will not be interested to see my profile at all, right? They want justification. They want to make sure whether you have applied those skills, right? Like that only, every module will be consisting of real-time live caption projects in proper details and real-time data set. 20 plus caption projects along with 1000 plus coding problems and assessments. This exactly will give you a proper enhancement and be ready to tackle the industry scenarios, the interview scenarios, and excel your career into the field. Daily doubt resolutions, what exactly we mean about it? It's not like a kind of like a group sessions or something like that. It will be a one-on-one call with our teaching assistant whom we assign to everyone. So normally, whenever you get some doubt, you need someone to assist you with that. And it's not like faculty will be always available. So there you get teaching assistant who remains available on multiple tables, give you resolution one-on-one on a video call, along with one of the mentor from the industry having ample amount of experience to give you a proper guidance in every single stage you are moving ahead. Mock interviews and a dedicated career coach, what exactly we mean about it? Once you complete the program, right, it's not like directly you would be aligned with interviews, because that will not be a great fact in fact. Like when you are completing the program, you not know how interview phases looks like, and you might get rejected in multiple interviews, which will kind of demotivate. So, after completion of the program for every candidate, we have a proper journey in LMAX where we prepare them for all the rounds of interview, providing them separate one-on-one training with a career coach from the industry, whether it will be one of our co-founders, whether it will be one of the person from the industry, with dedicated mock interviews on all the tech and non-tech round, whatever they would be facing, whether it is on the business communication, whether it is on the aptitude round, technical round, communication skills, soft skill. All this kind of mock interviews exactly helps you to enhance yourself and make yourself believe on you like you're 200% ready for the things you would be tackling up in going ahead. And at the end of the day, when it comes to job, it's a 100% job guarantee program with 700 plus hiring partners on board till date, right? Now, when we guarantee job, it doesn't mean that like it's a one-sided role which will be played. But at the end of the day, if the things will not be played both the ways, the things promises will not fall in place, right? If we are promising something, we also have certain conditions to fulfill, which I will discuss in the upcoming part, right? If you would be having any kind of questions or doubts related to our program, you can definitely ask me in the chat box, right? I am checking it on real time. I would be helping you out to sort the things over there. Moreover, that when it comes to learning activities, like how exactly we approach the learning part, right? For technical skills, as you know, we have live lectures. Every weekend we conduct lab experiments, projects and assignments you get assigned to, so that you can work on it, develop your technical skills. And mostly we conduct group discussions, so that discussing the things, you get to know about the knowledge, you bring up your knowledge on the table, and also understand few things which you do not know even. For motivation and industry exposure, one-on-one mentorship, guest lectures you get from IIT Guwahati professors if you're opting for that program, and community participation where we have our alumni community who are already placed. Alma X is particularly a journey when you complete the program, your interview preparation that we call as Alma X, or you can say a placement service, right? There exactly you get ready for the placements in for your upcoming journey. So as we said, we have more than 700 plus companies hiring from us. You can see on the screen. These are the companies who do a lot of hiring on a regular basis, we can say, right? Amazon is one of the empaneled hiring partner of our platform. JP Morgan, Grow, Accenture, Tech Mahindra, HSBC. So we have multiple hiring partners from all of the industries in India, right? Now, how exactly the salary distribution looks like when it comes to the placement package, the return of investment, which you guys look for. If you are investing certain amount on your upskillment, you always look for ROI, what kind of ROI you would be getting, right? So the minimum package which we guarantee is 5 LPA. That is the bare minimum in any worst case scenario. And you can see between 5 to 7 what amount of kinds are getting placed. Mostly the average revolves around 8 to 12 LP. So you can see between 8 to 9, most of the kinds do get placed, 9 to 10, and then above 10 LP, right? So between 8 to 12 is the average package which we actually provide in terms of placements, which we are maintaining it from the past 2 years. And still, this year's report is yet to come, right? So that will be a big surprise for the candidates because this just year has just ended. The team is preparing the report. This is the report of previous year 2023. That is the thing. 2024 report is yet to come. If you will be meeting your instructor or mentor, you can see on your screen Rachit Jain from data scientist from BCG, Ravi Ranjan data scientist from Publicis Sapient. So these are the faculties of yours, like with ample amount of experience working in top-notch firms with a senior level roles, right? Who know industry exactly in and out. So getting a guidance under them, it exactly means you are in your correct hands, right? Moreover, that we also have a full stack development program. So you can see like we have certain instructors from that particular domains. Neeraj Sharma, developer from Microsoft, Jyotirmay, developer from Apple. So we have this kind of profiles who know industry in and out, who have that much of experience, who stayed for that much of time into the industry to understand the things and trends in a better way and guide the candidates accordingly and provide the results in a better way. Success stories, like normally these are the few handpicked ones. The better part is if you guys are on LinkedIn, right? You can anytime open LinkedIn, look for AlmaBetter, and there itself, like you would be getting all the daily basis real time placements whichever our platform is doing, and accordingly, like you can check the things and aspects over there that if you are from a non-technical background, you also will be getting how exactly they are getting placed. And moreover that others, right, those who are coming from a technical background with a career gap, I heard a lot of people saying like they have a career gap of 6 years, 7 years, 15 years, whatever it is, right? Now the results show you that how exactly platform is capable of doing those, because lots of platform nowadays will promise you lots of things, but transparency matters the most, right? So we provide complete transparency on how we are placing the profiles. We show them over LinkedIn directly on a daily basis, whatever the profiles are getting placed, which companies are hiring, what the profile looks like, right? And it all are the verified profiles over there. That's how like exactly our approach is. Let's show you the dashboard. Till then, just wanted to ask you guys, you have any kind of question? Yes, no, maybe, before moving ahead? Any questions, any doubts? For those especially like who are not yet aware of our platform, not yet aware of our courses. Anyone? Yes, no, maybe, any questions before I move ahead and show you that how exactly our dashboard looks like, how exactly the features which a paid candidate get in the program looks like, so that you get a better idea and better side of it, right? At the end of the day, if you are planning to go ahead with any kind of platform, you also need to understand beforehand that what are the features they are providing on a real time basis, right? So that you take your call accordingly. And it's not like when you are enrolling then you are coming to know, okay, this thing is not there or that thing is not there. That's the exact part which we believe also. What is about AB CAT exam? So I will be telling you that in brief also. AB CAT exam. So this is something like which we conduct at the time when you are going into the placement services, Alma X. If you're opting for Alma X, then AB CAT is mandatory. So like to clear the AB CAT exam, you need to score at least 60% and total 5 attempts given to you. So I would be discussing that in brief. Let me just show my screen over the dashboard of mine. Just give me a moment, guys. Is my screen visible to my dashboard? Is Alma X also a part of master's program? Yes, definitely. Alma X is a part of master's program, but that comes after 12 months. That is the thing. Master's program is of 12 months, as you guys might be aware of that. So after 12 months, AlmaX is a part of master's program. But at the end of the day, if you are opting for certification program, you would be having a limitation of 5 attempts in AB CAT test. But if you're opting for master's degree, there will be no limitation to appear for the AB CAT test. That is it. So I have just shared the link of the dashboard to you guys. Those who are not aware of our platform can directly open the link, check the dashboard out. I believe my screen is visible to my particular dashboard. Let me give you a brief introduction to it. Then we will move ahead with how do we approach for the program which we conduct. So the first thing we are discussing is the full stack data science program. This is the certification one, 6 months program, 6 modules which we cover up. Those who are looking to kickstart their career into the field of data science, this is the best program which we have. And those who are looking to get a proper senior most position roles, right, with a great package, having good experience in different background, like the profile, if I'm not wrong, Swapnil has mentioned he was having 15 years of experience, right? So for those, we have degree program where exactly they get that kind of respect when they do the transition into the industry of data science. That is the thing, because the master's degree program not only cover up this modules which we have, but also it cover up the advanced aspect of data science. That is the thing. And also a thesis project and degree from one of the top European university, Wolf. I believe you guys would be aware of the name Wolf University of Europe. They are one of our collaboration. Now, when it comes to the preparation, guys, the very first thing is we start from very zero. You get introduced to Python. You get to know about what kind of libraries you would be using in Python, and accordingly, like you would be appearing for certain assessments to self-analyze yourself in between the modules that you are going perfectly good or not. And as I said, caption projects. Every module will be coming with some caption projects which you would be working on, right? Firstly, introduction to it. Second most module is, you can see over here, numerical programming, where like exactly if you're working on Python, you will be introduced to multiple libraries to analyze the particular data sets. Being a data analyst, you would be using these libraries on a daily basis into the industry, where NumPy and Panda we cover up, and also Matplotlib and Seaborn we cover up on the same. And also we introduce with you multiple projects to work on it and apply those aspects. Databases, here you get to know about SQL, standard query language, right? So that you can fetch the data sets from the database, run the queries, prepare the data using SQL queries and all those things. Then data visualization tools, where you get to know about how to analyze the data and visualize the data using multiple tools, right? The very first thing is data analysis using Excel. We start from the very basic of Excel, how you can analyze the data using that. Then after that, we move ahead with how to present like a pro with Tableau, one of the tool for data visualization. And for those who are mostly targeting business roles, right, Power BI is something which they are mostly focused on. But if you're covering both, it means you're eligible for both the roles, for tech and business, both the things. Now, statistics, like as I said, as Alok sir mentioned, till module 4, module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, if you are good in those, you can easily get a role in data analysis, data analyst, right? But if you're covering this module 5 and module 6, which is applied statistics and introduction to machine learning with generative AI, you are preparing yourself to join the organization directly as a data scientist, a fresher data scientist, right? Because these are the two things which data scientist needs to have in their skill set. And accordingly, like when you would be taking a jump or promotion also in the upcoming time period, right, the companies would be looking for this kind of skills in your role, in your portfolio. That is the thing. Now, when it comes to live classes, here from the classroom section, the attendees, right, normally the candidates who are enrolled in the program, they can check their sessions. Also, like normally we conduct 3 days in a week. The live classes are 3 alternate days in a week. Timings are 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. And you will be able to see all the recordings of previous held class in completed section, where you can give your feedback to your faculty. You can go to the class group to check the batch activities. You can see the recordings, and accordingly, like you can check all those, because this access will be with you for lifetime. That is one of the best facts which I mentioned you earlier. Practice, as I mentioned, you would be working on 1,000+ coding problems, right? So over here in the practice section, you can see like there is not at all a requirement of separate IDE, because you can solve all these coding problems here itself. By clicking on it, you can see like IDE pops up. So we have integrated it on the dashboard, so that you not need to download any external resource for it, right? Moreover that, like which companies these problems are asked in, what kind of skill is required, what's the difficulty level, everything you can sort out according to the company, according to the skill. Supplementary courses are the free course, free resource for the candidates who are not enrolled. Coding assessments you can see according to skill, according to module, according to companies you can bifurcate it. This is really helpful resource at the time when you're preparing for your placements, because we get it on the real time basis from our hiring partner companies, so that our candidates will be able to prepare for the same. And also, if you are preparing for the AB CAT test, you can also go ahead with the mock test first, make yourself ready, then you can appear for the AB CAT test. When it comes to project, so you can see like every module there is multiple project associated to it, which are based on real time data sets, right? When I talk about real time data set, it exactly means we update this data, we fetch these data and source these data from the hiring partner companies, like whatever the names are mentioned in front of you, whether it is Rossmann, Indigo, Yulu, Mintra, Max Life, Amazon. We get a real time data set from this particular organization, and accordingly like we provide those data set to the candidates to work on it, so that you get industry relevant idea, not a dummy idea, that exactly enhances your value. Now coming to the Alma X part, right? Lots of you were having questions related to Alma X, right? Now how exactly this thing looks like. So mostly what happens, for the placement part there are certain conditions. Firstly, you need to complete the foundation track, the sixth module which was there. Once that is done, then we conduct a test which we call AB CAT. This test is based on the curriculum only, which you guys have gone through in the program. You need to score at least 60% in this test, and you will be given total 5 attempts to clear it. If you are a part of the certification program, the 6 months program. If you are a part of master's degree, there is no limitation at all. Once you clear this AB CAT test, it exactly confirms us that yes, you are now ready and we can work on your placement service, right? Till the time you are unable to prove us that you are ready, we can't work on anything. As simple as that. So as I told you earlier, while in the initial phase, that things needs to be worked in both the ways, right? It's not like only one single way can provide you the result, right? That's how it strictly is. Once you clear it, then you basically enter into our placement service, where our placement team starts working on your portfolio, in your resume creation, your LinkedIn profile, GitHub profile, everything. Then basically you go to one-on-one training on all the rounds of interviews, mock interviews and all. And after that, your interviews start getting aligned from our hiring partner companies. Mentorship, you can see from here itself that how can you can book your mentor session with your mentor particularly, and accordingly connect with those. Job board, this is something which is a kind of game changer in our particular program. I believe those who are not aware how to use it would be getting used to it right now, that this is a thing which can give you opportunities from the middle of the program. Suppose if you have completed the first three modules, the basic module, which is Python, Python libraries, and SQL. Now you want to look for opportunities with those skills only, right? You can just simply go to the job board, select your job location, select the domain and employment type, and select your work experience like 0 to 2 years, and select the skills like Python and SQL. And through this only you can see what amount of roles are available, the companies who are hiring through us, right? You can directly view the job description and apply for this particular roles. And if your interview gets scheduled accordingly, like our team helps you out with the preparation. For this you're not required to appear for any kind of Alma X or any kind of AB CAT test. That is the thing. So with this particular skill sets only, what I mentioned here, Python and SQL, you can see what number of jobs are available. 103 pages of jobs are available, right? So companies, they are looking for this particular skills only, what I have mentioned: Python, Python libraries, and SQL, right? And suppose if you get placed in the mid of the program, right, you are also not required to pay any kind of pay after placement charges, which we have, the career service fee, right? That is the thing. This is completely an external placement which you are taking in. Even if it will be an external placement, but if your interview gets scheduled, your mentor will guide you on all these steps and rounds of interview. If you want to prepare your resume for the particular applications over here, your mentor guides you on the same. That's the scenario. So I believe you got the you guys got a clear idea about it, right? Anyone having any questions or doubts? Yes, no, maybe. Are we here, guys? Just confirm me what session right now. And I would be sharing my contact number also over the chat box, so that those who are already a part of it, so they already know the thing what it is. But those who are not yet aware of the same, we are starting our batch on 7th of January, and this is the first batch of the year, so multiple benefits are going on, right? So I will be sharing my personal number on the chat box, so that you can directly reach out to me, or I will be reaching out to you one on one. And accordingly, we're going to have a discussion on your profile, how exactly we can help you out, right? And moreover that, things gets better when you get to know about each and other things, right, in a proper manner. So any questions, any doubt, guys, which you have for me, or shall we wrap up here? We'll be waiting for 2 more minutes, and accordingly we're going to wrap this up. So I am just sharing my personal WhatsApp number here over the chat box, so that anytime if you would be having any question, you can directly reach out to me over my WhatsApp, and then we can schedule a call and connect accordingly. Yep, this is my WhatsApp number. So you guys can reach out to me over WhatsApp on this number, and we can connect accordingly. We can discuss about your profile, and if you are looking to be a part of AlmaBetter success story for the upcoming time period, do let us know. We are always open for it. And as I mentioned that we are having a batch starting from 7th of January, the very first batch of the year. So we are still looking for candidates who are dedicated enough to take a step ahead and go ahead with the preparation and become a particular aspirant of this field from a very new year ahead, right? So yeah, guys, we are already done with the session, and accordingly we can connect. I will be connecting with you one on one, right? And we will take the things up. Have a good day. Have a wonderful new year, guys, and enjoy the weekends.